So year to date, right now, we're at 36 homicides in Allegheny County, not including the city of Pittsburgh. Last year, we had 64 in Allegheny County, not including the city of Pittsburgh. So that puts us down about 43.8% decrease in homicides this year. Our non-fatal shootings that we've been requested to investigate are also down. We have 74 so far this year, as opposed to 85 last year, and that puts us down almost 13%. Combined between our homicides and our non-fatal shootings, we're down about 26% combined with the two.
Happy about that?
Say it again?
Are you happy about that?
Well, of course. Always the goal is zero, and anytime we can drive those numbers down, we are happy with that collectively as a police department and the county in general.
Big question is, to what would you attribute this like dramatic decrease?
Right, that's a great question. Allegheny County, we take an all hands on deck approach. You know, we try to throw everything at it, hit it from all angles. So fortunately, our detectives in the homicide unit are pretty successful clearing cases. We're at 75% clearance rate so far this year, above the national average. We all believe that it's a very small number of people driving the violence within communities. So if we're able to take those violent individuals off the streets, that can help reduce violence. Also, our gun seizures. We've seized 127 guns, illegal firearms this year, as opposed to 102 last year. So we're down up about 24.5% increase in illegal firearm seizures. So those two things, I think, help. The different programs through Allegheny County, the Community Violence Reduction Initiative supplies money to different communities so they can do different programs to try to stop the violence before it starts, whether it's stopping retaliatory violence on the street, or if it's programs that change thoughts, change behavior, change minds of folks who would otherwise perhaps engage in violent activity.
We've seen big increases in recent years on youth gun violence. Have we seen a decrease in youth gun violence this past year?
Fortunately, we've seen a decrease across the board, and I think, you know, all the factors that I mentioned, you know, play into that.
You think it's sort of holistic? I mean, you know, a deterrent and, you know, also social programs.
I do. I mean, we all agree that there's no room for violence in our communities. So the police have a job to do, you know, identifying violent offenders, getting them off the streets, getting illegal firearms off the street. The county through DHS, they're running, you know, social programs to help stop it before it even starts. You know, like I said, to change the way of thinking, to change the cognitive behavior of individuals. So yeah, we're going to go at it from all angles.
You know, nationally, we've seen the stats show a 20% decrease in homicides. In Allegheny County as a whole, we're seeing an even greater one. But why would we see it nationally, do you think?
I mean, a lot of other agencies across the country are employing the same tactics that we're using. You know, we're not in a bubble. We look to see what's going on in other cities, other counties, and they look at us as well. So if we see something that we think is working or could be working, you know, we want to try that as well. Also, the local police agencies are doing a nice job. You know, they're out there. They know their communities. They have community engagement. They're talking with the kids at a young age, and they also know who their violent offenders are, and they're getting those violent offenders off the street, and they're getting those illegal guns off the street as well.
Kind of in the same vein, if you could talk a little bit more about the role of local police, because obviously, you know, you guys investigate enough crimes in a certain area, you get to know the people there, but the local police are still the ones who are out there every day and know the people. So how do they play into helping you when there is an investigation?
You are 100% correct. So those officers in those neighborhoods, in those communities, they know their people. You know, they know what's driving the violence, and they're the ones who we collaborate with on a daily basis to share intelligence, to share data, and we work in conjunction with them to help stem the violence. But they're out there every day. They're out there every day doing the job.
I was also wondering, I believe in terms of metropolitan statistical areas, both Detroit and Philadelphia are on par, or on, I should say, on the path to having their lowest homicide numbers since they've been keeping annual records dating back to the 60s. Do we know the last time that the homicides were at 36? Like, is this the lowest since when?
Yeah, I'm not 100% on the number, but I think about 2007 is our lowest number when we started keeping the data countywide.
And do you remember what that 2007 number was?
I do not.
But you see it as a combination of police enforcement and these violence interruption programs.
Right. I mean, the community, the police are in the community or the police. So whether it's social service programs like Becoming a Man that goes into the schools and deals with school-aged kids and tries to change their mindset about how they deal with problems and anger, whether it's the Cure Violence, where they treat it, violence as a disease, and they're trying to prevent that from even starting. And they have violence interrupters, so if there is a concern about retaliatory violence, these violence interrupters, they're the boots on the ground. You know, they have relationships with these young folks that are at risk, and they can hopefully, you know, put a stop to that. And then the outreach workers are on the other end of that, where they put in the social services where these kids may not have the resources that they need, whether it's, you know, in education or as they get older in employment, whatever it may be. So, like you said, it's a holistic approach from law enforcement, from social services, you know, everything we can.
The other thing I was curious about, do you have other areas that you feel are fair to compare to Allegheny County in terms of either population or violent crime rates? I know a lot of times people do the, you know, Philadelphia thing or other Rust Belt cities. Are there other counties in the country that you feel we should be looking at as sort of markers of how you guys are doing in terms of the rates going up and down?
Right, and you know, Allegheny County, Pittsburgh, I mean, we're unique compared to other cities, compared to other counties. We kind of look at what other places are doing. I don't have specific places that we tried to model from, but you know, there's things out there all over the country that we try to make best fit for our county.